Thursday, June 22, the 173rd day of 2023. There are 192 days left in the year. Good morning, MB. Guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station, 1039 The Moose, live online at K105.com via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we're going to update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. Submersible has everyone's attention, running out of time there. We're going to tell you pre-1990 skills that are useless to you now, and your chance to win. That and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beach. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good.
I'm about to make you snicker.
Okay.
A new survey says Americans spend $172 annually on houseplants.
$172 annually?
Annually, $172 a year on houseplants. Now, I'm not going to ask you specifically about buying houseplants, but the things that help you grow and care for houseplants are what multiple of $172 annually? Times 10, times 20, times what do you think? No?
No.
By the time you buy Miracle-Gro and fertilizer and...
For
no?
houseplants?
Just
No.
plants in general.
Oh, plants in general, garden, that's a different story.
All right, but some people spend zero.
Yes.
And then there are you. And so that brings the average down to $172 on houseplants proper.
Okay.
He is a 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio News Hawk Award. He's the 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Budapest, Rio, Tokyo, and even Litchfield. He's Sam Gormley and the Sports. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. I was reading another headline that says 7 in 10 U.S. adults think food tastes better in the summer. You think food tastes better in the summer? Or is it just because where the food comes from in the summer?
Yeah. I mean, that's but then again, like in the winter, there's not much better than like on a cold day with some chili or something like, or
True.
like a really heavy meal,
Yeah.
like pot pie or something to kind of warm you up.
We will grill year round. There's not, but we do grill less in the winter. But there's just something about whether it's corn or vegetables or a burger or something
Hot
coming off the
dogs.
grill. Hot dog is 100 times better off the grill than it is in hot dog water. I don't like.
It's like,
I don't like hot dog water.
but then again, I mean, you think of summer. What sport are you thinking of? You're thinking of baseball, and
That's
what goes in with baseball more than a hot dog?
Absolutely. And, at the ballpark, they do put them on those roasters primarily. You don't give them any grill marks on dogs at the ballpark.
That's where you got to go to Donley Field or
Oh,
something
yeah,
like
they
that
do
during
grill theirs, don't they?
I will tell you all something in the break that I heard about hot dogs that is worse and more gross than hot dog water.
I would rather you not tell me.
I'm going to.
You
there's
are?
nothing.
I
there's
mean-
nothing you could. I mean,
My relationship
yes,
with hot
Sam.
dogs,
They're
my
delicious.
relationship with hot dogs is perfectly fine. I would prefer you not ruin it.
Okay.
I guess you're just going to do what you're
I
going
am.
to do. This first full day of summer will be more mild. It will feel more spring-like than it will feel summer-like. We're going to see a warmer weekend ahead, though, as highs will return to the 80s. Could see some stormy weather Sunday into early Monday, but 75 is the high today, 20% chance of rain. We have received much more rain this week than I would have expected on Sunday. I thought our rain chances were limited to Sunday and Monday, but it's really stretched
rained
out.
almost all day yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, off and on, and it was sometimes a light drizzle, and sometimes it was a little heavier. 89 Saturday, 89 on Sunday, and then mid-80s for your week. Early week next week as you get into the first full week of summer. So that's what you can expect.
You even made the comment saying that you wanted to get out in between the storms, and I was kind of thinking, I thought it was done. No, you really did, because it kept going off and on, off and on. I was having to dodge it as well.
It was a downpour yesterday at a time that we were all trying to go different directions. I have not seen a whole lot of updated information this morning, and I don't know if it's a matter of people are having a hard time speculating or conjecting on what maybe is happening. But this morning is the morning when most of the so-called experts on the submersible in the North Atlantic thought that they would run out of oxygen. They had a 96-hour oxygen supply when they went under the surface of the water in the North Atlantic on Sunday. There's been no radio contact since then. There have been no sighting since then, although 2 days ago, a Canadian search crew heard banging somewhere in the ocean. They were unable to zero in. And so I certainly hope for a miracle, but at this point, I would imagine that hope is waning on ever finding. And I mean, I guess ever is it will become recovery instead of search and recovery. I did see the one thing that I saw this morning was that a robot they had dispatched had reached the sea floor, and the robot had not been successful in locating any evidence of the craft. So, and I will say, I saw a social pivot yesterday of people who finally started saying, "Don't be joking about this."
Yes.
That's how some people handle things too. When it's a uncomfortable situation, some people, like I even posted one that was just a little joke that some people might not, but at the same time, it's meant in good humor.
I think it became, when something like this becomes nationalized or internationalized, it's easy to detach yourselves from the families or the victims or what people are going through or the searchers, or it seems far off. But somebody did finally, after a week of, and there were a lot of memes out there, there were people that were saying, and I can't tell you that I didn't find some humor in some of them, but then I noticed yesterday, though, just a pivot when I think a lot of people thought, oh, they'll find them, because that's just kind of what most often happens. We don't lose people in situations like this. We find them. But I saw a lot of military people yesterday were saying people don't come back from the sea, the floor of the ocean. They just don't. And so I could tell the mood of people were changing yesterday, because people suddenly, for the first time in the week, they could have easily said on Sunday, don't make fun of this, don't make light, there are people's lives at stake. But when the time is really running out, then people started maybe feeling a little bit differently about it.
I think it's one of those things that people believe, oh, this the whole thing, this couldn't happen to me, this doesn't happen. I think in people's minds, this just couldn't happen, that, they would be recovered, that this just was not a possibility.
I think a lot of people, too, there is a portion of people who are saying, it's like, well, this mission, like you all the red flags were there, and you still did it. Now, again, I'm not, there is a portion of people, too, who have that mentality of, there were a ton of red flags, and you still went for it to look out a window.
Yeah, there is an element of this. They were not trying to broaden the horizons of space. They were not trying to resurface the Titanic. They were not really doing any scientific research. No, I think there is research involved with this program, but this particular endeavor I don't believe was research based. This was commerce based. And so I do think there's some level of people feel, I don't know if less sorry for is the word, but you do look at it objectively and go, they kind of knew what they were getting into when they decided there's danger involved with this, but there's danger involved in a lot of things. But I don't know if we'll ever have any more answers than we had today. But like you said, you mentioned there was a lot of risk. There were a lot of known risks going into it. The scrutiny is going to get even greater on this organization that was leading this enterprise. So we'll see what we learn from here. I pray for good news, but I certainly don't expect that it's going to arrive. First responders in Litchfield were dispatched to an opioid overdose early this morning. It happened about 2:15 on Hardin Street. A 45-year-old man overdosed on heroin or fentanyl, possibly a combination of the two, and was given 4 milligram dose of Narcan by a relative prior to responders arriving. The Narcan revived the man. He was transported by EMS to Owensboro Health, Twin Lakes. I believe this has happened again recently to that individual, but when I read that headline this morning, the thought crossed my mind. It's not for debate today, but I'll just tell you the thought crossed my mind and the way my mind works. I know recently, honey, you were involved in that program at the extension office when they were talking about Narcan being readily available and
Yes.
how to administer it
was
and
at the
when to
mental health
administer
fair,
it. And
yes.
yeah, exactly. And so Narcan, in this particular case, was life-saving.
Yes.
The thought crossed my mind and is if we were to come up with a fix for every potential deadly situation like this, would there be an incentive to not make the same decisions? Like historically, when you choose not to do something that is harmful to you, it is because of, oh, well, I don't want this to happen to me. But it does make me wonder from a psychological standpoint, if I think that death is off the table, do I behave differently? And I don't know the answer to that. It just,
As an addict, I don't
think that crosses your mind
I
even in a
don't
little bit.
think, as an addict, I don't think that crosses your mind.
yeah, it's,
I don't
can't help
know
it.
that, but
you would hope that it would be an incentive, but my guess is that when you're in the throes of that, you don't have that logical ability.
Right.
Correct? Does that make sense?
and this has been going on. People making the repeated choice, since, and we are a smaller community, and Narcan is just now becoming more readily available to us. But I don't think that has changed the outcome or the choices that people have made.
All right, one more thing that I want to explore too and see. Fentanyl is extremely deadly, and so are we in this cat and mouse cops and robbers game of, do the drugs get more deadly and as a result the remedies have to get more powerful? Like, is there a drug that Narcan won't help with? Like, I don't again, I've got questions, not answers, but it was one of the things that
I
made
don't
me
know.
wonder, do we have to constantly
But I
keep
think-
refining our ability to save people?
I think you look at Narcan, and I think there are probably many instances where that not only saved their life just in the general term, but also saved their life because it was the wake up call that was needed.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
yeah.
that there are probably examples in Grayson County of that, where somebody was revived, and that was kind of the, like I need help.
And that's what you hope for.
Yes.
I mean,
And-
well,
and that's why
hope
you
that
do it.
Yes, you hope that you don't encounter the situation where you have to use Narcan, but if you do, you hope that the
it's-
receiving end, that this is the wake up call. But
If it saves one person as far as like taking them to the next step and helping them go to rehab or however they want to do it, then it's a success.
My guess is you never quite know what the magic trick is to doing it, so you got to try all things until
Well, 'cause what's been going
until
on,
you're
it's not been
successful. No, not so far. A Morgantown man has been indicted on multiple charges, including attempted murder after a domestic violence disturbance. 45-year-old Jared Wilkerson was indicted by a Butler County grand jury for attempted murder, first-degree burglary, first-degree strangulation, etc., being a persistent felon. And the indictment stems from an incident where, according to Morgantown police, Wilkerson illegally entered an Oak Hill Apartments unit in late May and assaulted a female. He was arrested at the scene and now has been indicted. Kentucky will remain in a multi-state effort designed to ensure accurate voter lists for another year, while looking for possible alternatives to detect voter fraud. Secretary of State Michael Adams weighed in on Kentucky's future role in a partnership that has drawn suspicion among some Republicans. Kentucky joined the Electronic Registration Information Center, known as ERIC, several years ago in stepping up compliance efforts over its voter rolls. With those efforts still ongoing, he said it would be irresponsible to withdraw immediately from the bipartisan group, but he went on to say it would be equally irresponsible to remain enrolled in the group permanently because of its declining membership, which I thought was a refreshing stance from Secretary Adams. He's saying it's too early to get out, but we also don't want to be foolish and stay in long after it's viable for us. The thing I remember, I also think rolling into the next presidential election, it is very important to let the things that have changed in the last couple of years go through the full election cycle to build confidence that it is, as Secretary Adams said, easy to vote, hard to cheat. That's what you're trying to achieve. Make it easy to vote, encourage people to vote, but make it hard to cheat at the voting process. But what's happening is other states that were in this collective are pulling out, which means the expenses are still the same, and Kentucky is having to disproportionately pay a higher share to keep this enterprise afloat. But some of the byproducts, I believe, that you're seeing of being enrolled in ERIC is now, if you do a change of address, you miraculously get a postcard from the election process. You know, it comes from the county, but I guess it's at the behest of the Secretary of State that says, your new polling place is such. So you're not even really having to go do anything differently, but because of data sharing in multiple states and moving from state to state, they're able to track your migration better, and it seems pretty pretty efficient.
I'm pro when you turn 18, they automatically put you in and send you, and then send you or put you in, but you have to check off or go anything and send you the postcard. Or we need to let people make it as easy as possible to vote and give people the easiest opportunity.
Yeah. And I think I'll tell you, I go back to this last election. There wasn't a lot to vote for, but I did, and it was extremely easy. And the flexibility of being able to go, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or on Tuesday I thought it was wonderful.
You can even go back to November where there was a lot to vote for locally.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. A Louisville man has been indicted in the murder of his mother. AG Daniel Cameron announced yesterday the action by his office resulted in a murder indictment returned against a Louisville man who is accused of killing his mother. The indictment was returned against 44-year-old Gavin Perkins, who was charged with murder after police said he fatally shot his mother in April of 2018. 5 years ago? Sounds like a while. We learned, I guess, right before the show yesterday, Sam, you kind of made were relaying some scuttlebutt that Antonio Reeves was back on campus.
At that point, it was not scuttlebutt.
It was
right after
confirmed?
the show. It had been, it was, in our industry, there is the confirmed without being confirmed, and it was confirmed without being officially confirmed.
So it was unsure for a while whether Reeves would end up still in college, somewhere else in college. He was supposedly back taking classes somewhere else to get become a graduate so he could continue as a graduate transfer, but sounds like Reeves hopefully is back at UK this season,
I'm
and
curious
he's
if
needed.
this is one of these situations, too, where his people were saying more than what he was actually saying.
Probably. That's the problem with people, is sometimes they muddy the waters. What was the thing the other night in the To Kill a Mockingbird? It was about, I like a person, but I don't like people. Collectively, it's like, people ruin everything.
My grandma's line was, I like food, not people.
That's
Cason Wallace expected to be among the top players chosen in the NBA draft tonight. You could also hear, probably not tonight, but you'll probably, Chris Livingston's name.
Well, it's a one night.
It's a one night.
Yeah,
they
the
do
draft is
what
one
they
night.
do 3
Two.
rounds, 2 rounds. Okay.
I mean, there's a chance at the end of the second round you could hear. I think you'll hear both of their names because I think they've probably gotten both. Because Chris Livingston has what's called, the agency is called Clutch, which is run by LeBron.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I'm sure that
helps.
LeBron will be like, hey, you need to take this guy. And then Oscar, I think somebody will, just because for a good I think the pro to Oscars, he's going to go to a good team that needs like a gadget guy because that's what he is.
Yeah, Inspector Gadget. Wembanyama
Yeah, I think you got it there.
from France. Wembanyama is likely to, you see him holding the baseball at Yankee Stadium the other night. It looked like a golf ball in his hand. He's from France. He's what, 7'3"? 7'3",
I think he's a 7'6"
plays like a point guard.
wingspan.
Wow. The Reds win their 11th straight yesterday, and it's their longest streak in 66 years. Did you see the picture of De La Cruz standing next to Altuve?
Yeah.
That really made me laugh.
Well,
I was
see,
like, whoa,
I
they
posted
are.
because there's the famous picture of him and Aaron Judge.
Oh, yeah.
And I posted that in our Reds group saying, it's the new Aaron Judge and Altuve picture just because it is. They're both, Aaron Judge is a little taller than De La Cruz, but it's still that funny difference. And
Yeah, quite a disparity between their two heights.
Yes.
So let me ask you, do you prefer to say longest winning streak since 1957 or longest winning streak in 66 years? Which do you like better?
I think 57.
You like
sounds good.
57?
57
sounds further ago than 66 years, so I'd go.
I mean, you got to think that. I mean, the Big Red Machine didn't do it,
Yeah.
so it's the '90 team didn't do it.
11 in a row is hard in baseball. It's just not a game where, you run off streaks like that. Got to get to a break. We'll come back. Going to run over some skills that if you were born before 1990, you probably still have the skills, but they're probably not very important. So we'll talk about those coming up here on In the Know.
Does the nagging pain of a sore knee, shoulder, or hip keep you from doing the things you love? Lose the pain and get back in the game with the help of Owensboro Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Located at Twin Lakes Medical Center, Dr. Isaac Miller and Dr. Ted Rogers are your local experts for hip, knee, and shoulder problems, from minor sprains to advanced procedures. Learn more and schedule online at owensborohealth.org/ortho.
Thinking about furthering your education? At Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, you'll get a high-quality education close to home at a cost that won't break the bank. Enjoy small class sizes with professors who take a personal interest in your success. Scholarships are still available, making our low tuition even more affordable.
ECTC's Litchfield campus is now enrolling for classes that start August 14th.
Visit elizabethtown.kctcs.edu to get started. ECTC, College for the...
Living on the lake is a luxury. Lake homeowners have been supplementing their properties with the best quality rock, stone, and asphalt products from Scotty's Contracting and Stone for years. Scotty's Quarry has been serving our lake customers with cleaner, underground mined, pure limestone for driveways, landscaping, and construction projects. Our crushed stone products can also be used to assist in erosion control near waterways. If you live on the lake, contact Scotty's Contracting and Stone for an estimate on high-quality products and service at 270-259-5696.
Congratulations! You're gonna be a mom, and we're here to help every adorably tiny step of the way. Now, expectant and new mothers up to 1 year are eligible for no-cost health coverage through K-CHIP or Medicaid. Just visit us at connect.ky.gov/K-CHIP to qualify and enroll. Then sit back and relax for a minute, okay? You've got enough going on.
Buy one, get one for $1 at McDonald's. Or as we like to call it, the can't have just one deal. Mix and match a tasty McDouble sandwich, McChicken, savory 6-piece chicken McNuggets, small fries, or, for a limited time, any size frozen drink. Buy one, get one for $1. Now try flavors like frozen Coca-Cola, Fanta Blue Raspberry, or Fanta Wild Cherry. Prices and participation may vary. Valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
The Kentucky Department for Community-Based Services is hiring. DCBS invites you to be part of an inclusive team of caring professionals that helps all Kentucky families through a rewarding career in family support or social services. They have job openings in their county offices across the state and offer great benefits like hybrid work schedule, competitive salary, paid holidays, and many opportunities for training and promotions, plus state employee discounts. Go online to chfs.ky.gov and enter DCBS jobs in the search field. It's a new day at DCBS. Join them, an equal opportunity employer, MFD.
Roblox is now allowing creators to build experiences that feature mature content for users who are at least 17 years old. The experiences and content may contain violence, romantic themes, and depictions of blood and alcohol. In order to create or view such content, Roblox will require users to upload a selfie and a photo of a government-issued ID. The Federal Trade Commission suing Amazon. It alleges the e-commerce giant got millions to sign up for Amazon Prime through manipulative means. It also accuses Amazon of using dark patterns, tactics used to get customers to stay subscribed or enrolled in a service. Dark patterns could include strategies such as hiding an unsubscribe link in a tough-to-find spot. And the latest list of the most prevalent threat actor countries behind sponsored cyber attacks is out, and China tops the list. Cybersecurity company Trellix released the annual report that says 79% of all malicious activity detected can be linked to China. The report covers the first quarter of this year. Check report, Mark Mayfield.
Sits a ragged tent where there ain't no trees, and that gospel group telling you and me it's love, brother, love, say brother, love's traveling salvation.
stupid guy thing day. We know there are things that just silly things that guys do, but they're guy things. So it's onion ring day.
I'm a fan.
You're a fan of onion rings?
It's not my, like, in the list of the fried sides, it's not my go-to one.
I'm a fan of onion rings. You get a little
I'm
low
having
down in the
trouble.
ground over there.
Yeah, I'm having trouble today with
I'm gonna say,
equipment,
you're
chairs.
sitting down in the floor over
well, I mean, I'm still uncomfortable from all the poison ivy or
Oh,
not.
so it came out of your mouth. It's
Not poison
not poison
ivy,
ivy.
but you know.
there. And it's chocolate eclair day.
I do like those.
I like chocolate eclairs. And I like the chocolate eclair that comes from the donut shop that's like a donut with chocolate on top, but cream filled. Like, that's the combination I like.
See, I like the little, like, cream puffs.
I think an eclair is actually lighter, more like a puff pastry. If you get it in a real French bakery, it's not the donut type, but I
almost
like
like-
the donut type.
It's almost like we might have a connection to French bakeries that we might be able to get the proper and maybe even some taste
That's
testing.
right. All you have to say is, oh,
Wait, does she appear then?
pardonnez-moi.
Oh, come on, Gracie, give us some eclairs.
All right, here are a list of pre-1990 skills. This came up on Reddit. People born before 1990, what trivial skill do you possess that no one uses anymore?
Do I just need to sit this out
So
here?
we have some of the best answers. I guess what you can do, Sam, is you can figure out how many of these you can do,
Okay.
even though you were born post-1990. One, remembering phone numbers. I remember my paternal grandparents had two different phone numbers at their home over the years, and I remember both of them. I remember my home phone number from being a kid because
I remember that, yeah.
it's still my parents' number. I remember my maternal grandparents' phone number. I know her number. Even though honey, one of the reasons I know your number is that sometimes I have to enter it into forms, like registering for something. Is
I was
like,
going to
oh,
say, when's the last
I
time
need
you had to enter her number to actually call it, though?
Oh, to actually call it?
We were probably testing something,
Yeah,
or
it's probably been a while.
Maybe, probably. But
'Cause
I
know,
still...
like, I can give my parents each of their cell phone numbers. I could give her old house number. My old grandparents, when they had their phones, I could give you their house numbers. But other than that, like, I couldn't tell you what my brother's numbers were.
I know Jason Thomas's number because it's so close to mine. Like, I have a very unique one, and he
Yes,
has a
you
very
do.
similar unique one. So, like, some of those I know. But beyond that, generally, like, I could not tell you either of my sister's cell phone numbers. Forget it.
Because I think my brother's ends like 0097 or something like that. That's all I could tell you.
I know my daddy's landline, and I know my mama's cell, and obviously I know yours.
Yeah.
But that's it.
I like this one. I can unknot curly telephone wire and get all the curls facing the right way and behaving themselves. Oh, sure. That's easy to do.
I could probably do that based on untangling microphone cords,
I was gonna say,
and then you got it.
it's
Yeah,
still a skill that I use to
Yes,
this day.
it is.
Right here.
I was over here doing it just a few minutes ago. Yeah.
So
I think there's one co-host that comes in sometimes that likes to finagle with it sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
the ability to make and count out change for a purchase. Sure, that's easy. But I also have the skill. I can tell you how much change that you owe me back, even when you can't tell me without your.
And I
cash
love
register.
it when you just kind of look at them, you wait for a second, you're like,
Oh, and I love to do
yes.
I'd love to do the bit where you pay with enough cash so you can
Yes.
get back a specific
Yes.
combination of currency and coins, and they look at you like,
yes, like yeah.
"What
It's
are you
been
doing?"
so long since I've
It's one of my
used change
It's
to
one
buy
of my
anything.
favorite things to do to people.
Because it grinds them up. They
Yes.
go, is this a trick? My family gets mad at me. This is funny. My family gets mad at me for using MS Paint instead of Photoshop. Boy,
Well-
MS Paint's been a while ago.
Yeah.
I still use paint for
Me
some minor,
too.
like paint. Paint is good if you're wanting to quickly change the size of a picture. That's good because you don't have to drag it into Photoshop. That's what I'll use. I still use that.
Photoshop is a lot if you want to do something minor.
But I have used Photoshop for 15 years now. And so because my learning curve on Photoshop is so minimal, it's now my go-to even for easy things. I can't tell you where MS Paint is on my computer. I mean, I could probably search for it.
I have it It's at the bottom for me. I've pinned it.
I still know how to set up a VCR to record a television program in advance. I don't know why you'd need to, but I understand that you possibly could.
I don't know that I would know how to do that.
Giving the television a karate chop to fix reception, that's a life skill that everyone needs desperately.
There was a time where we had a piece of equipment in here that we had to karate chop.
That's
Sometimes
right.
it would work.
I had completely forgotten this one. I can cover a textbook with a brown paper bag.
Oh yeah, I had one teacher who required that for his textbooks.
I vaguely remember this, but after I thought of it, I thought, I remember this from elementary school.
I did not know
that
this
was a
existed.
thing.
Yeah, I had one teacher. I remember, it was one of my sixth grade social studies teacher. He required it.
Is it basically Poor Man Dust Jacket?
I think
Is
so. I
that
think
what it
it's
is?
because I think he realized that he only got, I think it was like once every 7 years so they could get new textbooks.
Yeah.
And I think he realized that this was something that would keep it as intact as possible.
Now, I had never heard this. It's called crash starting a manual car. I know what jump starting or roll starting a car is, but putting it in neutral, rolling it down a hill, popping it into gear, like holding in the clutch and then popping it into, I know how to do that, but I'd never heard it as crash starting. Using the Dewey Decimal System at the library.
Oh, yeah.
We can do that. Downloading music using point-to-point software, like, LimeWire and
The things that you
Napster?
can't stand.
texting with 10 keys. I bet I could still do it. It would take
I
a while.
could. Mhm.
But I would love to see a side-by-side comparison of texting from 2007 and texting from 2023. Like me, if you could put me side by side with me, and it would look like the rabbit and the hare. It
Yeah.
would be like you thought you were burning it up though on the 10 key. It's like
What I want you to do is give one to Alea and see if she can figure out how to send a message to someone.
Well, she'd send a message.
yeah,
I just don't know what it would
What it would
entail.
say.
throwing it against the wall is what she would probably
Well, luckily
say.
those phones you could run over it with a semi truck and it'd be okay.
That's true. Here are 13 things, and we're going to run through these really quick. 13 rude things you're doing at the grocery store checkout that you may not realize. And some of these I thought, bringing items to the checkout that you've already eaten or opened.
Well,
I've never done that.
I rarely will do it. I have done it rarely, but it's usually a drink. It was I grabbed a Diet Coke or I grabbed a water or something because I came in here to shop and I am dying of thirst. That's not that big of a deal because they can still scan the UPC code. But if it's something that has wrapping on the outside of it, then it could be considered rude because they don't know.
well, then
And
you all can take Mamaw grocery shopping, and you will open a bag of chips.
I'll pass on both. It says some stores have a rule against it, and some people will even tell you, hey, you can't do that, but I've never seen it happen. Revealing spoilers or sports scores. Remember, a lot of people who work in that industry are working evenings or nights, so don't be in there blabbing stuff that maybe they were waiting to see.
Oh yeah, I've had that happen even doing games.
Oh, yeah,
where
I
I've
bet.
held out on not wanting to know a score.
And then somebody ruined it instantly. Blaming cashiers for expired coupons. It's not their gig. They didn't set it. Not removing items from your basket. You roll up there and you decide it's too heavy for you to do. Now, sometimes if it's also conversely, you have to balance the big thing. Don't also throw the big thing up on the conveyor belt. If it's the 24 pack of water or whatever, let them come around and scan it if they want to. That's also another thing. Like, don't get it out of the cart any more times that it has to be moved. Making inappropriate conversation, political, religious, stuff like that. Just, leave people alone in that setting. Sorting out the contents of your wallet while there's a line behind you. Get out of the line.
George isn't allowed to do that?
Oh, talking on your phone while you're at the checkout. Placing heavy items on the conveyor belt. Putting your cash on the counter when the cashier is holding their hand.
That's almost like a germ thing. Like you don't want to make I don't know where your hands have been.
Here's the one. That joking that items that don't ring up must be free.
That was my mom's go-to.
But what do you say? You got to have something to say, right? I try to be
I
a
think
good
the
sport.
issue
Like
is
it's
that
not that big of a deal. I guess I could be mad. Like, come on, speed up. Hurry up. I'm in a hurry.
I think the issue is that poor cashier. How many times she heard that joke today?
I guess. Yeah, I get it. But when I said it, it's like, oh, well, I mean, it's just trying to be nice. Mixing different types of produce in a single bag. I wouldn't have even imagined this as a possibility.
I don't know why you'd want to do that.
You know, the people who get one bag and they put one banana and one apple and one tomato and well, they all have to be weighed. And so you're just creating more work. Those little thin plastic bags, they're fine. You can have as many of them as you need for the different types of produce. And then express lane with way too many items.
Mm-hmm. Could also throw in there if you don't know how to use the self-checkout, just there are usually regular ones open.
If you don't know how to use the self-checkout, call Christy Buckles. She helps everyone through the self-checkout.
Yes.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Spike in teen depression aligns with the rise of social media. No doubt. Right? That's a no-brainer. Spike in teen depression aligns with the rise of social media. But then I also found is something called anti-dopamine parenting. And so you may look into this. We don't have time to get into it today, but it talks about how devices can hijack your neural pathways, and it talks about things like waiting 5 minutes. Like dopamine is so powerful that when you say stop right now or turn your device off, the dopamine is so powerful that it creates a reaction where if you'll say 5 more minutes, then that actually allows the dopamine to kind of fade away. So don't make it so abrupt, make it. And then they also called the Goldilocks principle, knowing the right amount, knowing, when and which types are okay and which are too much, the interactive ones versus, say, the TV ones. But I thought it was really interesting. It said something about, make micro environments. Create places in your home where the child can't access or see problematic devices. And this really struck with me because Alea has an iPad. And if she knows it is in the house, she figuring out ways and reasons to use it. If she knows it is nowhere on the place, which is going to come up again later in the show, then she's fine doing 1,000 other activities. And it shows you even in young children. Now, imagine how bad it is for us and how adults act, just run unfettered. And so it's a powerful, powerful thing, but an interesting study. It's called anti-dopamine parenting. So might look into it, see if it works for you. Got to get to a break. Your chance to win coming up. You're on In the Know.
Your choice of lifestyle directly affects your health. And while there are many complex factors surrounding your lifestyle, sometimes the simple truth is that you just need to feel better. Well, rest assured, your feel better starts right here at Midway Pharmacy. We take our time to get to know you and your lifestyle so we can provide sound advice on ways to improve your overall health. So whether your goal is to maintain a healthy lifestyle or overcome that untimely sickness, remember, your feel better starts here at Midway Pharmacy.
Congratulations! You're gonna be a mom, and we're here to help every adorably tiny step of the way. Now, expectant and new mothers up to 1 year are eligible for no-cost health coverage through K-CHIP or Medicaid. Just visit us at connect.ky.gov/K-CHIP to qualify and enroll. Then sit back and relax for a minute, okay? You've got enough going on.
Hey, it's Ashley from 97.5 WAMC. Summertime is finally here. As traffic increases, the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety reminds all road users to pay attention and watch out for each other. Following the rules of the road and these simple steps can help save lives. Remember to buckle up every trip, every time. Put the phone down if you are driving, walking, or riding a bike or motorcycle. Safety is a shared responsibility. Enjoy your summer and be safe, Kentucky.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
Those stomach issues ruined your birthday.
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa.
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Doors take us to summers away or winter adventures and afternoon getaways. Your dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors by working with you on a comprehensive plan to help you reach your wealth's full potential. Because doors were meant to be opened. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimum supply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
We'll keep some clouds overhead for today as we warm into the 70s for highs. There's an isolated rain chance in the forecast through the afternoon into tonight. For tonight, we'll fall down into the 60s for lows. Tomorrow, jumping back into the 70s for highs with some scattered showers and thunderstorms returning to the forecast. From the Wave News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrews.
Did you know the first use of Google as a verb was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer? It's funny how often I use it as a verb. Just Google it. And now, I don't even say Google it. I have reduced it down to if there were only a way to find that out. Let's see, we'll just go to. And I guess that in a way, that's use the search device of your choice. Now, I prefer Google. But that doesn't mean that I'm trying to impart and insist that you use my preference. You can be a Binger if you want. I don't know why you'd want to be, but I mean...
What about Ask.com?
You can be. No, if it's not going to be Google, I would accept Jeeves, but that's neither.
Well, Jeeves is no more. Didn't...
Oh, don't tell me that. I can't take that. We were just talking about people being mean during the break. I mean, don't now tell me Ask Jeeves is gone too.
I think he went on in.
That's just a bridge too far for me. Here's today's water cooler question. It's your chance to win if you've not won in the last 30 days. You or your household have not won in the last 30 days. And you're 18 years of age or older, you qualify to win. We're going to bring back the water cooler question for today. You're going to text your answer to 270-259-6000, 270-259-6000. And the question is this: about 20% of waiters and waitresses wish customers would stop doing this.
Oh, gosh.
About 20% of waiters and waitresses wish customers would stop doing this. I'll just say servers. About 20% of restaurant servers wish customers would stop doing this.
If this was a higher percentage, I would rifle them off here. Trying to think if
20%. I was reading a story where, Kevin Costner and his wife are splitting the canned goods. Her name's Christine. She apparently thinks the canned goods are very valuable. She requests $248,000 a month in child support.
How many kids they have?
I hope it's 20.
1,000 kids?
His 2022 income was listed at $20 million. So that, using that to deduce that down to some of the expenses listed include regular travel to the Caribbean, Hawaii, and Aspen. Listen, it's hard. I mean, got a standard of living to upkeep here.
Those poor kids.
Christine is 49 and Costner is 68. 3 kids: Caden 16, Hayes 14, Grace 13. Interestingly enough, Robert Redford had agreed to play John Dutton when Yellowstone was in development for HBO. So Taylor Sheridan had a deal with HBO for Yellowstone, and then for whatever reason the deal went sideways. It surfaced at Paramount, it was recast, and Costner got the job. Can you see Robert Redford as John Dutton?
Not now.
He wouldn't have nearly as gravelly a voice. I don't think.
I think I got it.
Priscilla, the first trailer for Sofia Coppola's Elvis and Priscilla movie, is out, in case this is your thing. It's based on Priscilla Presley's best-selling memoir, Elvis and Me. It comes out in October.
I missed that this was even a thing.
You know, Priscilla is coming to theaters. Now, I don't know if this is perfect timing or if this is the worst possible timing. I would imagine some people will feel both ways. A new documentary has been announced as the search for this missing tourist sub continues even today. It's called Titanic Sub Lost at Sea. It airs on Channel 5 in the United Kingdom today at 7 p.m. local time. So is this helpful? Dan Walker will be serving as the presenter. That's what they call hosts in the United Kingdom. In this ITN-produced doc, which is said to go beyond what's been reported about the voyage of the Titan, the tourist sub equipped with a 4-day air supply that's left search and rescue teams with minimal time to try and locate it. So there's apparently a documentary about it, and they're airing it tonight. Is this the too soon that we talk about, or do you think the timing of this is right to help people understand what's going on?
I think it's news.
Would you watch it if it were on here?
If it was a Netflix thing to where I could watch it when I wanted to watch it, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would, at 8 o'clock tonight, if it was on, I would watch it, though.
Makes sense. The complete list of ESPYs 2023 is out. Would you choose Nikola Jokic, Aaron Judge, Patrick Mahomes, or Lionel Messi as the men's best athlete in the men's category?
That's
you
who I
take
would
Jokic?
pick. The Joker, as they call him.
Okay.
I can't vote for Mahomes.
Well, I wondered. I knew you wouldn't choose Judge, so I thought it was probably down to Messi or Jokic.
I think Jokic and Mahomes would be the ones that you would choose from, and then Messi. Because one thing Judge didn't do is Judge didn't win a title. The other three of them did win a title. That's why I wouldn't vote for Judge.
All right, on the women's side, Michaela Schifrin, Sophia Smith, who's from the Portland Thorns, Iga Swiatek from tennis, or Aja Wilson from the Las Vegas Aces.
Aja Wilson she's really good. I'd pick the Schifrin. She's a skier, isn't she?
She's a skier.
Yeah,
that's
and
right.
she broke the record for most gold medals or something, right?
Okay, so all the ESPYs are out, but I also read that Gen Z, a new survey says, and you probably already know this, Sam, Gen Z is enjoying live sports less than other generations. Not surprising, yes?
I disagree.
You think so?
I don't think that's.
I mean, I know you watch a lot, but
yeah,
do you
but
think
I mean,
by
I don't. I have not noticed that at all between my contemporaries. Even though I straddle the line. My age group is I straddle the line between millennial and Gen Z.
But you're also birds of a feather flock together. You're more likely to migrate to sports people.
Even I'm thinking of people that I don't. But then again, I think of right now, and this is not me just trying to talk it up, is that the area I'm from has never been better for sports. And it's been a long time as far as soccer, football, and baseball are all rolling.
Right.
So the interest level is very high.
A lot of competing interests these days, though, in the entertainment spectrum.
There's no question
and
about that.
Stay at home, and people don't want to leave home, or they want to do different things. So, anyway, interesting. That's why baseball had to change to speed up and maintain interest. Got to get to a break. We'll figure out who our winner is. Plus, we'll have Point to Ponder, chart toppers, and more coming up here on In the Know.
Here's a simple tip to help your family build strong connections with one another. Spend meaningful time together. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't that obvious? But believe it or not, it's something a lot of families overlook. They get so caught up in the busyness of life, they fail to set aside time to simply be together and create memories. And I wouldn't trade my family's camping memories for anything in the world, even when I hit my head on the camper several times. We've enjoyed the beauty of the Rocky Mountains as a family, and we've gone sightseeing at Mount Rushmore. We've laughed, played, and connected in ways that simply wouldn't have been possible at home with all the usual distractions and responsibilities. There's nothing that can compare to the feeling of sitting around the campfire with those you love, looking up at the stars, and marveling at the wonder of creation. It's good for the soul, and we've grown closer to one another because of it. But what if camping just isn't your family's thing? Maybe a soft bed and a warm shower are more your style, and that's okay. Every family has its own favorite activities. The important thing is that you make time for these things and do them. It doesn't have to be fancy or complicated. Just make sure it's something that allows you and your loved ones to focus on one another and spend quality time together. Get some distance away from work, responsibilities, and iPhones, and simply enjoy being with one another. To help your family thrive, go to FocusOnTheFamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's Metashare. Maybe you've heard switching to Metashare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month. And that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for Metashare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Metashare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 888-SHARE-19. That's 888-SHARE-19. 888-SHARE-19.
Wendy's Strawberry Frosty is back for the summer. So whether it's beach time, a tea time, or me time, it can always be Frosty time. Choose Wendy's Strawberry Frosty today. Now open till midnight or later.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary.
Congratulations! You're gonna be a mom, and we're here to help every adorably tiny step of the way. Now, expectant and new mothers up to 1 year are eligible for no-cost health coverage through K-CHIP or Medicaid. Just visit us at connect.ky.gov/K-CHIP to qualify and enroll. Then sit back and relax for a minute, okay? You've got enough going on.
Hey, it's Dwight Whitten, and summertime is finally here. As traffic increases, the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety reminds all road users to pay attention and watch out for each other. Follow these rules of the road, and these simple steps can help save lives. Remember, buckle up every trip, every time. Put the phone down if you're driving, walking, riding a bike, or a motorcycle. Safety is a shared responsibility. Enjoy your summer and be safe, Kentucky.
Tennessee whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine.
MB's Point to Ponder for today. What painfully outdated phrase do you still use? What painfully outdated phrase do you still use? This was hard for me because I bet I've got several and I was not able to pick one. But I was reminded, until I met you, honey, I never heard someone say, didn't know someone was on the place. And I'm not saying that's an outdated phrase. I'm saying that I had never heard it. Like, oh, I didn't know you were home. Or I didn't think there was anyone around. And you say, didn't know anybody was on the place.
I've never heard that before.
But the other night, Tuesday night, Scout in To Kill a Mockingbird made the reference to being on the place. There was no one on the place. And I thought, aha, now I got it. So is that where you get it from?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Is Scout from Edmonson County too, maybe?
No. Scout Finch. There's no Scout Finch from Edmonson County.
It wouldn't shock me if there's a Scout post somewhere in Edmonson County.
Do you know any? Probably these days there are.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a pretty popular. It's got to be a pretty popular.
There's probably
name.
some in Grayson County. And
I know there are in Grayson County. Well, are there any outdated phrases that you have, hon?
I don't know.
Or do you know
Maybe
any
you
of
can tell
mine?
me.
I wouldn't know of any.
I don't know what I use. I don't think I say duh. I mean,
Well, I know you
That's a good
you always say that you want to get rid of awesome, but that's not a
that's
phrase.
That's not a phrase. No.
I use awesome quite a bit.
Yeah, I do too. That's why I'm trying to get rid of it. All right, today's water cooler question was about 20% of restaurant servers said they wish their customers would stop doing this. I thought, just ran through some of the most offered answers.
I thought I nailed this.
Stacking their dishes was listed as one. That's been known to happen at our table before.
As someone who worked in a restaurant, they're not going to be upset about that.
I was surprised at
as
that
long
too.
as long as you do it in the proper
Yes.
and don't put in
Please
weird.
don't put your napkins, especially
Seating themselves, letting their kids run wild.
That's way higher.
Not holding their hand up to flag them down. There were others, but the correct answer was sitting on the same side of the table or booth.
Yeah, I mean, with it being 20%, all those others I think are a lot higher. I mean, I hear Anna's some of the things that Anna has to say, and Sam, I'm sure as well.
Yeah. I mean, I thought I got it with letting kids order themselves.
I thought I had it with clean up table themselves.
It's harder because of the way that, I mean, when you get 4 people at a table, that's what you've got. But it seemed like it's extra work to reach over to get this person. But it does leave the door open for the Outback move, which I think they've stopped doing, certainly during COVID, is, honey, you deliberately did not want to eat at Outback because the server sat down with you at the table. It's like,
do not ever do that.
Wait a minute.
I did not come to have dinner with you.
It's very interesting because some people really like that.
Yeah, some people think it's charming.
And I'm
it's
not
charming.
weird about my personal space. That's the thing. I mean, I'm a hugger. But I did not come to have dinner with my server.
Well, see, it's weird. I don't like people up in my personal space, but if there was a spot, I would not have been mad. It just
if they sat right next to you or across from you.
Well, I mean, if there is one, I mean, if there's one open chair, then I'd have nothing. But if you're sliding into the booth and it's really tight, then that's where it gets a little bit.
All right, so how many people got it right? How many got sitting on the same side of the table or booth?
8 people did.
8 people. I'll do 2. Answer number 2.
If your phone number ends 3314, looks like you're going to Beach Bend.
3314. All right, on TV tonight, the NBA draft is on ABC. On NBC, The Blacklist. And on E, the series premiere of Trippin' with Anthony Anderson and Mama Doris. I don't know. I know Anthony Anderson. I don't know Mama Doris. Today's highlight in history, this date, 1940, during World War II, Adolf Hitler gained a stunning victory as France was forced to sign an armistice 8 days after German forces overran Paris. Paris. Napoleon Bonaparte abdicated for a second time as emperor of the French this date in 1815. The Department of Justice was formed this date in 1870. Okinawa battle ended with an Allied victory this date in 1945. Chris Christopherson is 87. Britt Hume is 80. Meryl Streep is 74. Cyndi Lauper is 70. Aaron Brockovich is 63. Dan Brown is 59. Carson Daly is 50. And Jay Rodriguez is 44 today. Ed Bradley, gone but not forgotten, born this day in 1941. Chart toppers, let's go to 1954. Archie Blyer, number 1.
I know
with Hernando's Hideaway.
Secluded place, a place where no one knows your face.
Could they not afford any instruments?
That's an instrument.
It was? What is that instrument called?
The clocker.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Glockenspiel.
No, the Glockenspiel's like a xylophone.
Caillou Sakamoto's Sukiyaki, number 1 in 63.
Call the bells. Get them on the line.
Boom, 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 boom. Stars on 45 medley, number 1 in 81. Oh, I forgot to play Donna Fargo, the happiest girl in the whole USA. Oh, that's too bad. Okay. The Stars on 45. Let's go to 1990.
Yeah, Spider-Man and Freeze.
Belle Biv DeVoe, number 1 with Poison.
I'm ready. You ready, Biv? I'm ready, Slick. Are you? Oh, yeah. Break it down. Girl, I must warn you.
Let's go to 1999. The Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way. I had no idea that was such a big karaoke song. We were looking at karaoke playlists in the last couple of days.
This one?
This is on. Yes, I was surprised.
Absolutely.
You knew this.
Yeah, I mean, this is.
I didn't realize this was such a karaoke
I think
hit.
you might just be a little it would be more of like a little younger than her, probably.
Yeah.
Like that.
It's
if you're,
easy.
it's yeah.
It's
if you're in
easy.
like if you're in your 30s, probably.
Interesting. I mean, it's melodic. Like I was running it.
And I
I
think
was
the
sound
biggest thing
checking
too
with it
is,
the other day.
is almost everybody knows the words to
Yeah,
the song.
it's really hard to.
Which that's what you want for karaoke.
I can hear the crowd kind of singing it.
And then I mean everybody's gonna hit this.
Ain't nothing better. Leona Lewis, Bleeding Love, number 1 in 08. Bruno Mars, That's What I Like, number 1 6 years ago today. All right, MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. George Carlin said it. You're only going to get it once, so be prepared. Here you go. George Carlin said, people who say they don't care what people think are usually desperate to have people think they don't care what people think. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powering through the Twin Lakes with the best mix of music, news, weather, and fun. If it's in the